Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Greg, let's talk about some retail trends.
Definitely saw a theme this week in a lot of the news coverage that we had. And of course, we've been talking about the labor crunch that everyone's dealing with, but now we're starting to get to more specific solutions. And we had a number of them this week.
Yeah. One of the ones that I saw that I thought was really interesting, and when Kroger does something, I think everyone pays attention. They partnered with an AI firm to reimagine the fresh experience, but a lot of it had to do with supply chain and how they're doing things, and also labor management. So that goes along with something I saw at South by Southwest last week, where the CEO of Shelf Edge, or the founder of Shelf Edge, which is a firm that helps optimize ordering and does a guarantee where they will guarantee and buy back your food, your shrink. Basically, if they get their ordering wrong, they have partnered with Kroger. So we're seeing, and it's kind of like, I don't know, I was talking to some folks after the session, and it kind of is taking away the person from the ordering, and it's really a disruption. But when we think about what's going on with the labor market right now, is taking away the person really the bad part of it? I mean, the market's going to fill this vacuum of the lack of labor with something, and we're seeing the automation, AI, robotics, all of that just take 2 or 3 huge steps forward.
Well, I think that taking away the person from the buying and selling relationship is not a good thing, especially for the produce industry, but taking away the person from a lot of the unskilled parts of the supply chain is definitely a winner. And we're seeing that in food service too. One of the stories, the Sweet Green restaurant is putting in a drive-through. Who would have imagined a chain like that go into a drive-through format? And then you've had some experiences, or we've had stories about kiosks and eliminating servers.
Yeah. I was recently dining. I never go to Red Robin. I typically don't hit those big Chili's, Applebee's kind of places. And we were at Red Robin, and they've got iPads on the tables instead of yelling your order. And although when I think about it, there's these restaurants, the fast casual restaurants, where you go sit down, you have someone take your order. That person has been really challenging to fulfill in the labor market. And then when you think about one of the most successful fast food organizations in the country, Chick-fil-A has actually started manning their orders outside instead of having people yell into the little box, right? And I took my kids to Cane's the other day, and they have started having people out there with the iPad, and they take your payment right. They stand out in the drive-through instead of having you talk into the box. So clearly we're finding better ways to do things and more strategically deploying our people.
It's not an easy thing, and different places will have their own niches. You know, I live in a neighborhood, and it's not going to happen to the places I go to where I have walking distance, but they're not chains either. They don't have to deal with the mass labor situations like more of these fast casual chains do. And Chick-fil-A has been a differentiator in a number of different ways, and labor is one of them. They also have nice people who work there.
Yeah, I mean, Shake Shack was also a speaker at South by Southwest last week, and they were talking about how they had converted to 100% digital ordering, of course, when lockdowns were happening. And now their digital ordering is a huge chunk, and they've actually decided to try to push almost everyone into some form of digital ordering instead of an in-person order, where that means you still go into the restaurant, but you're gonna like our favorite McDonald's in Carroll Stream, Illinois, we go to the kiosk and do our little boop, 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 boop on the iPad thing, and then they bring our food to us later. I think people really enjoy that experience once you get used to using one of those things, because as this gal from Shake Shack said, people tend to order more and indulge more when they're ordering from a machine rather than ordering from a person. And she specifically mentioned bacon. as we see higher sales of bacon added to burgers because maybe there's less guilt of standing there and the person's like, would you like to add bacon? And they're like, oh no, I shouldn't. But when you're doing it on your phone or an iPad, you're like, oh yeah, sure, 75 cents for bacon or whatever it costs. We don't have a Shake Shack around here. But people are more willing to customize their order and trust that the customization is better. One can hope, hopefully. I think
that's an opportunity for avocados and mushrooms on burgers.
Oh, for sure. Avocados, mushrooms, bacon, and peppers, grilled onions, grilled jalapenos. I mean, Mighty Fine Burgers here in Austin, which is like local version of Five Guys. You can get your jalapenos grilled when you put them on a burger, and you can also put avocado. And then they had an entire sandwich that was just a fried avocado. So they're doing some really fun things with produce on those. And you're right, if you are switching to personalized kiosk style ordering, you can take all the time. You don't feel like you have to hurry when you're choosing your ingredients. And hopefully the other end of the experience, because that's the other thing, is that a lot of the data shows that takeout and digital ordering and food service done that way, where you're not actually dining in, people are satisfied with it, but they also mentioned that oftentimes the order may be a little bit wrong, it's late, it's cold, but they still plan to spend more money. That was a Technomic study that came out before the pandemic, and I'm sure as addicted to takeout as a lot of people have become, they will continue that trend.
So I think we're seeing the theme is good labor is good and bad labor should be replaced with automation.
That seems to be what we're going to. Good labor is good, and we will deploy it strategically, and unnecessary, wasteful, redundant, it's kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, when Charlie's dad became the guy who fixed the machine that puts the cap on the toothpaste rather than be the guy that puts the cap on the toothpaste. It's that kind of allegory has been around for a long time.
Slackers beware.
Another story that has some legs that came out last week, I believe, is the Fresh Market. I don't know if you know, was named the best grocery store, best supermarket in America, which for me is a little surprising because can America shop at the Fresh Market? A lot of America can't because they only have like 150, 160 stores mostly.
Yeah, well, it's USA Today. Keep that in mind. They probably the worst mass media producer in our country.
Yes, I often rail about these best lists, and a part of it is because it's usually a Wegmans, Public, Nugget, HEB popularity contest, which regional superpower has more fans, more vocal fans. This best supermarket in America list is part of this 10 best series that USA Today puts together. And the way it works, and I'm trying to figure out what the finalists were, but they have a panel of experts, and I looked at them, and they look to be travel and leisure bloggers, narrow down a list of nominees. Experts. How are they retail experts? I don't know. And they make this list, and then they open voting, so it's public voting. But I didn't see a single like retailer go, hey, go vote for us on this best of list. I don't know who reads USA Today who would actually get access to this list. I mean, the Fresh Market for me is not exactly an up and comer when it comes to retail. We'll just put it that way. And it's a beautiful store, but it often feels a little dated to me. They have been doing a lot of overhauls and a lot of work in meal kits and stuff, but I've talked to folks in the Fresh Market, and they readily admit that their target shopper typically skews a little boomerish. But the other ones on the list were Hy-Vee, Aldi, Lidl, Stu Leonard's, Market Basket, Publix, Wegmans, Trader Joe's, and PCC community markets. And the thing that I noticed was half of those stores are small formats. They're unique shopping experiences. I don't know if I call Aldi and Lidl unique because they're basically the same thing.
Unique to everyone else.
Yeah, they're a unique shopping experience, and they're not Albertsons, they're not Walmart, They're not Kroger. They're not any of these stores that are the biggest grocers in America, although Aldi is getting close to its target of 2025 being the third largest retailer in America.
By number of stores, right?
By number of stores, yeah. It's not by sales, and
Right.
it's by number of stores, but still, I mean, 2,500 stores is nothing to sniff about there. But I thought it was really interesting to see that on this list, nobody picked the biggest grocery stores. They all picked their quirky, unique one. Even Market Basket and Stu Leonard's, those and Wegmans. I'm honestly shocked because we've got Trader Joe's and Publix and Stu Leonard on here. There's no Nugget and there's no HEB. So
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably just an anti-Texas bias.
and that's also probably whoever decided to put the top 20 that you vote for and narrow it down to the top 10. Those travel bloggers just haven't been to Sacramento to see Nugget, and they just haven't been to Texas to see HEB, because it's a tragedy to not have those on this list. But hey, all of these I feel like you need to take with a grain of salt. But I did notice that people are gravitating toward, and experts are picking out the ones that have a smaller format, a more unique shopping experience that is different from perusing the aisles of Walmart, for example.
Yeah, so they'll just be crying in their billions of dollars of sales over these other companies on the 10 best list with their trophy.
You know what? The Fresh Market is really proud. I think they even added it to their boilerplate, because this is the second year in a row that they have been named the best supermarket in America. And that, for me, I'm just like, okay, but most of America can't shop there. So, all right. Well, that's it for the Produce Reporter Week in Review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter in the morning and the afternoon, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up.